And to help us make sense of what's happening in Senate at this time, a lot of back and forth in that House at this time. Let's now bring in our senior political editor, Francis Gachuri. Francis, I don't know if you're able to just briefly summarize for us exactly what is happening in Senate at this time. I know you've been following these proceedings since about 3 p.m.
And you know, politics is also about mischief. And what you've seen a short while ago is a masterclass of mischief. Why do I say so? Because remember, there have been 2 votes in the Senate. One, there was an attempt on a proposal by Sia Senator, who is also the minority leader, James Orengo, to postpone today's debate or to adjourn the sitting today to a later date, so that there can be a bit of time for senators to caucus, to solidify one position that will be a win-win one. And that decision or that proposal was rejected by 40 senators against 7. And then the second part of it was a proposal by Majority Leader Irungu Kang'ata, the senator from Murang'a, to bring an amendment so that the Finance Committee proposed formula be postponed in terms of implementation to 2022-2023 financial year. That too has been rejected by 25 votes against 22. And so what senators were currently discussing until that adjournment by Deputy Speaker Professor Margaret Kamar was a recommendation or an amendment by Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja, seeking that every county retains the amount of money that they had been allocated in the last financial year, and that any increment be based on the current allocation. Basically, the current allocation be the baseline, so that no county gets less than what they are currently getting. And it was being seen as the win-win kind of a formula by those senators who are coming from the counties, particularly, that were looking like they would lose a substantial amount of money if the Finance Committee formula was immediately adopted and implemented in this financial year. Counties like Gachuri are going to lose up to about 1.4 billion shillings. Mombasa, Kwale, Kilifi, Makueni, some of the counties that were likely to lose if the formula in the Finance Committee was to be implemented currently. So what has happened is that for the 6th time, the Senate has been unable to adopt and pass a formula that would be used in a sharing of revenue between the 47 county governments, Wahiga.
Now, should you briefly tell me this? What does this then mean for the disbursement of funds to the counties? Of course, there's been lots of fears that this could paralyze activities in the counties. Lots of counties had already, began thinking through their budgets with a certain amount in mind. But with what has happened today, again, no way forward. That impasse still in effect. What does this mean for the counties?
The stalemate persists, Wahiga, and that memes that county governments will continue to wait a little longer for their allocation in the 2020-2021 financial year. What do I mean by this? Because while the division of revenue matter was sorted out between the national government and the county government, the national government is already implementing and using its resources in the 2020-2021 financial year. Remember, the first month of the new financial year ends this month, and county governments are yet to know the exact amount of money they are going to get, meaning they can also not budget appropriately because they don't know how much money they are going to get. And why is this the case, Wahiga? It's because the county allocation of revenue bill cannot be debated in the House, cannot pass in the House, cannot be assented into by the President to become law until such a time that the Senate has approved a formula, meaning county governments cannot now know how much each county is going to receive. Generally, they know they are going to get about 316.5 billion shillings for the 47 county governments, but they don't know exactly how much each county is going to get. So the stalemate persists, and you can clearly see it has even defied what you call the handshake in Parliament. When the Senate was discussing various issues previously, there was unanimity, especially from the handshake team, on making certain decisions. For example, whether it was to go the committee way or the plenary way in the Waiguru petition, impeachment motion, whether to eject Professor Kithure Kindiki as Deputy Speaker, and whether to eject Ferdinand Waititu as Governor of Kiambu. The handshake seems to work in the House. But today, the contentious issue of sharing revenue seems to have even defied the handshake. And so, yet again on Tuesday, we will see whether the Senate will be able to agree on that formula. But for the time being, county governments continue to wait for that decision And it also means that they cannot be able to make substantive decisions on the amount of money they are going to get.